I mean, I'm very thankful to all the participants. It's a Saturday morning here in Qatar, and mid-afternoon. It's afternoon in India, and Ria is in Bahrain, isn't it, Ria? And
Yes, yes, from
that's
Bahrain.
again, it's the same time zone as us. So the good part about this situation is that we are all a small world now, and no matter where people join in from, we could always have enjoyed the expertise of each other here. And speaking of expertise, let me introduce you to Ria Bhansali, who is a chartered accountant by profession, and she is a certified yoga instructor, a life coach. She's passionate about entrepreneurship and wellness. She started her career in the field of yoga and life coaching. She has her own startup called Riyog, that's RIYYOG, where she promotes physical fitness uh, and mental health via coaching. Now, her aim is to lessen the pain in people's lives, and it's a very noble cause. She is a corporate trainer, and within a short period of past 2 3 years, she has trained more than 3,000 people, both in India and in Bahrain, in corporates like Xerox, JW Marriott, and so on. Now, being passionate about filmmaking, she also educates people via her YouTube channel, which is Ria Bhansali Rayog, and she promotes yoga and life coaching together. Now, her hobbies include painting, reading books, and writing. An interesting part is that she publishes her own articles every month for Bahrain Confidential magazine and her own website as well. So it's wonderful to have Ria here. We have been in touch for quite some time now. We have done a couple of trainings together, and then we have collaborated on multiple levels previously as well. So she is a very known, very close colleague, and and she is an expert in what she does, whether it is yoga or NLP. It's wonderful to have you here, Ria. Thank you so much for joining us and having all the group giving your expertise, sharing your knowledge with us. So, with a warm welcome, with that gracious smile that Ria always portrays. Good morning to all of us. Good afternoon for those who are in India. Let's start this session. Ria, if you would please take over. Thank you so much.
Oh, thank you so much, Avinash. It's so nice, such kind words, rarely spoken. And someone I think just commented, Mr. Abhay, any relation with Sanjay Leela Bhansali. And I wish, but no, not as of now. So I guess like today's session, like I'm really passionate about yoga, and I'll just tell you like briefly as to how I came and how I decided to take this topic up today. Now, Avinash and I were talking for like about 15 days now,
Yeah.
and like discussing as to how we can do and how people can benefit from it. And I was just somehow wanted to connect NLP and yoga. Now, before becoming a chartered accountant, I was already a yoga teacher. I loved yoga and it has transformed my life because I had physical aches which got healed because of that. And then when I discovered NLP, I got to know that how psychosomatic pains can also be healed, and how our thinking will change the pains that we have in our body, the way we think. And rapport and building rapport is something that really shocked me when I was actually studying NLP with a trainer. I was really mesmerized by it, and it really got my interest really quick. So, and there is a lot of implications. The same thing I studied in yoga in a different way, and the same thing I studied in NLP with a different angle and a different perspective. So I thought using these two knowledges that I have together, I really want to combine it. And of course, the feedback will be from you whether it has actually helped you or not. I'm sure most of you are in corporates who already know the importance of rapport, team building activities that your HRs make you do, and all of that. But today I'm going to go a little subtler as to not only rapport in terms of how you talk. but rapport with a stranger if you want to do it. And there are really fun techniques that I have used in when I was staying in Bombay. So I did my chartered accountancy course in Mumbai, and I was there for 8 years. Just a background, because I'm going to be using this quite often. So from those who are from Bombay, you will be able to relate to my story every now and then. But nevertheless, Bombay stories are heard everywhere, so that's fine. And I've been born and brought up in Bahrain, but 8 years of Bombay is what changed my life professionally and also as a person. So I'll be using the Bombay examples a lot because I have used NLP techniques while traveling in trains and while actually noticing people. And like whenever I teach you, I'm actually covering 4 areas as to how to build rapport. One is, using your breathing. That's the yoga technique. One is using the words. One is using the tone of your voice, and one is using the body language. See, today what I'm teaching you is not something that you already don't know. You already know it, but maybe like I'm going to teach you the subconscious aspect of it, the very subtle aspects. Everyone knows if you've done public speaking courses before, so they'll ask you to make your body bigger, taller, and you're showing your hand gestures to show more confidence when you show your hands. But today, what I want you to understand is how you can build rapport with somebody who you don't have much time with. That was my aim, number one. And there are 2-3 exercises which are really fun as to how you can wake up somebody when they're sleeping. So I'm just going to leave that, and this is something that my trainer taught, and I have actually experimented with each of them. It's been 3 years since my first certification, so I want you to try it out. This session I wanted to be interactive, so please keep typing like comments, or just unmute yourself. If Avinash, if they have an option, I'm sure they can unmute themselves because do they have that option?
Yes, they can unmute themselves. Please.
Awesome, that's great. So the more interactive we have it, the more I want you to not only learn what we are doing today, also where you're going to apply it. Because it's just knowledge is going to be a waste. Where you're going to apply it, and personally, I'll tell you how I've applied it. So I think we can just jump into the rapport building. Now, has anyone heard of NLP before? Like what NLP is, or like maybe when Avinash put up the post, have you like gone through what NLP is, or did it raise any curiosity in you? You can just maybe like give me a thumbs up or just give me a thumbs down so I know you have. Okay.
We have Avinash here in this group, so NLP is the baby for Avinash, I believe.
Okay, so everyone's quite aware of this. So you know how we're working actually like with the subconscious, and the way we speak, what we speak is going to hold a lot of importance, right? So I'm not going to touch on that point again. So that's great. Thanks, Sridhar, for writing. So great. I don't have to touch on that. Now, rapport building. How do you actually see rapport building as? And I would just like to maybe take 2 comments and probably just unmute yourself and just answer one question as to why do you think rapport is important, and number 2, how you build your rapport with somebody. We can go with Mr. Abhay. I think you've unmuted yourself. Yes.
Okay, I can speak. A lot of times you assume something and you act accordingly, but the person in front of you may not be thinking in the same line, or even expecting you to behave in a particular fashion. Mm-hmm. Of course, it's not so easy to gauge that what the person would be thinking or expecting from you, but I guess of late what I'm learning is immediately once you start, and this is thanks to Avinash through NLP, is that understand how a person reacts within 1 or 2 seconds. Never react immediately. Understand what the person is saying, right, and then digest that, and then change your behavior accordingly. That would help building the rapport. And why rapport is required to be built? Because you want to get something out of the conversation. So if the rapport is not built, you would never get that. So thanks to Avinash for it.
Wow, Avinash has actually made my job very simple. getting the actual answer. And so, what do you do to build rapport? What's the one thing that you do ideally?
I have been extremely bad in building rapport, though I'm a sales guy. But eventually,
Oh,
it's been a last. I've been in the industry for 23 years now, but I've been extremely bad. So, but then Avinash being there for last 1 month,
mm-hmm,
and coaching me very rightly,
mm-hmm.
it's helping to change, the whole behavior. It's
Right.
difficult. You have something in your personality for 47 years now, and then
Mm-hmm.
it would take time to change. But I believe the techniques that Avinash has given or continues to give, and even when I just listen to him, the way he reacts or the way he talks, okay, there is
Mm-hmm.
a lot to learn. So it's too early to say, have I changed or how do I do it. It's just a learning path.
Wow, that's that was nice. Anyone else would like to just brief up? Mr. Prasad, you unmuted yourself.
Yeah, I think when I was very young, my
Mm-hmm.
mama used to say to me is that you should treat the person the way he wished to be treated. If
Yes.
you treat the person the way he wished to be treated, I think building rapport is not at all difficult. If you are soft, if you know that person's, that you are treating well, if you are, if you know that person is really really want to have an enthusiasm and want to say something to you, you have to be calm and listen and quiet and understand what he's trying to say. If you do these simple things, building rapport is very very easy. And I'm a bit fortunate that way because I was with him and I understand how to build a rapport very quickly. I'm very
Wow.
open to anyone, and I think most of the people probably would agree if I'm not wrong. Avinash and maybe Abhay can point out to that. I'm very easy to gel with anyone, and that's my style of working, I would say, and that
And then what's
basically
the one
helps you
thing that you
increase.
do to build rapport?
I'm very open. See, I'm
Uh-huh.
whatever I do, I appreciate. I comment on my, if I don't, certain things I don't like it, I say okay, this is what I personally don't like it, please change the way you want. So if you're open, I think that becomes very easy.
If
That's
you're
I
open.
personally think.
Okay, that's the thing I'm going to take if you're open. Now, I am going to start. These are great inputs, by the way. And the thing when Mr. Abe said he's not good with rapport, and Mr. Prasad said he is good with rapport, there are a lot of subtle things that you're doing to build rapport, subconsciously or consciously. Okay. Now, I just want everyone to just take a minute. I want you to close your eyes. Okay. And just follow what I'm saying just for a minute. Just try to keep your hands free and you just need to listen to my voice. Nothing much needs to be done. I'm not going to do anything. So just keep your phones down, hands free. And I just want you to breathe. Okay? Just try to relax the body. And just focus on your breath. Your belly is becoming big and small as your breath goes in and out. Just focus on your stomach. It's inflating and it's deflating. Don't try to change your breath. Just 2 more breaths, no matter how short or long. But become comfortable with the idea of keeping your eyes closed for the next 2 minutes. You're going to be guided by the sound of my voice. And now, I want you to go back into the past and remember that one incident, and that one incident alone, where you thought you built amazing rapport with one person. One incident where you built amazing rapport or you had an amazing time with someone. just try to see the picture. Now, you may get a lot of incidences, or you may not find even one. You'll be completely okay with the idea of searching for another minute with one incident where you thought you had amazing rapport. Pick up that incident and now try to see. Just try to relive that moment. Try to see yourself and the other person. If there are more than one person, try to look at everyone, seeing their body language, seeing the tone of the voice, trying to hear the words that were spoken. And just try to rewind and quickly just try to see the tape again. It's like a cassette in your mind. Just play it again, trying to relive the amazing rapport that you build with the person or several people. It could be a wedding, it could be a function, it could be a corporate meeting, it could be a dinner out with family. Just take one more minute. Just try to observe the body language, the words that were spoken, and try to feel what you felt. Keeping that incident fresh in your mind, I want you to start focusing on your stomach again. Become aware of where you're sitting in the chair. Keep your eyes still closed. Focus on your stomach. As you breathe in, it becomes big. As you breathe out, it becomes small. Three more deep breaths. Not trying to change the breath. And when you feel comfortable, open your eyes. I just want one feedback from everyone. Was there a difficulty finding even one incident? I just want to have a comment, or I could see some of your faces, but those who have not kept their videos on, if there was any difficulty, because this is going to be the basis of today's session. If you were able to find, just give me a thumbs up so I can see your screen. Mr. Sujit, Mr. Darshana, yes, okay, great. Great, thank you, Miss Arun. Okay, all right, so we're going to proceed from there. So I remember that most of the time when, okay, Mr. Ashish, but I build a good rapport. Great. Okay, so everyone has at least, okay, that you were silent. This is amazing. Okay, I'm going to touch on this point. Let's just go forward, okay? So now everyone has this incident. Now this is going to form the basis, okay? Because we're going to use this as an example. Had this been a live physical session, I would have made you do exercises related to the same. But there's no limitation, as Avinash said. And we're going to use this incident, keep going back to it, and keep going forward, okay? So everyone has the incident here in mind. And now what I made, I could see smiles on some of your faces, which is amazing, which means you're actually living it, right?
Riya,
Yes,
just
Mr.
just a quick request. Can you put your mic a bit closer?
Okay, one second. Do you want me to put in headphones?
Yeah, I mean, there are some breaks in the voices. Thank you.
Just a minute. Thank you so much for pointing that out.
Now it's more clear.
Better now?
Yeah, much better.
All right, great.
Thank you.
So we'll begin from here. Now, in that image, if you had one person with you or two or more, like more than one, that's completely fine. So I touched upon four things, okay? First one, I'm just going to go one by one and I'm going to then dive deep into it. Then I'm going to tell you how you can use it later on. Perfect? Everyone with me? If you want to take down notes, I'm not somebody who believes in like a presentation format. I'm more like a physical person. But if you want like notes later or something like that, maybe you can watch this link again or keep a pen down. Like completely up to you. All right. So the first thing that happens, somebody is not on mute.
There is somebody who was unmuted. Just a moment.
Miss Deepthi.
Unmute. Yeah.
Yes. All right. So, like in a bigger picture, you can keep closing your eyes whenever you want. Okay. But just generally, I want to make it more interactive. When you were looking at that incident, okay, did you see everybody's body language? Now, the first aspect I'm going to focus is on the body language and how you can sync that and use that to build your rapport. All right. So, the first incident, body language. When you saw that picture in your mind, or when you heard the sounds, or when you felt the feelings, did you see the body syncing? Like if somebody is doing this action, the other person's also doing this action. Was there a similarity or they were completely different? If there's a similarity, give me a thumbs up. If there's a difference, give me a thumbs down and hold your hand like up for like 3 to 5 seconds. Good. Okay. Mr. Sujit, Avinash, Mr. Sridhar. Okay. Anuradha, Abhiji. Okay.
Dipti, Ambili.
Okay, I'm just waiting for 3 more. Okay, I got thumbs up. So most of you have given me the thumbs up. Okay, so now what happens is, see, rapport building can, if you have a lot of time, it's perfect. But today, what I'm going to focus is when you have short time, how you can build the rapport with a stranger. How do you build the rapport? Now, in most of the incidences, your body language is going to be in sync. So if somebody is slouching, the other person is also going to be slouching. Now, try to, when you're actually walking around, try to observe people. Or if you're good in visualizing, that's perfect. Go back, see incidences. Okay, just keep seeing incidences where you thought you're seeing a lot of people having fun together. When you're seeing people having fun together and mixing as a group, you will notice that their body languages sync up. Okay, so if somebody's standing tall, the other person's not going to be like this. The other person is also going to be like this. If the shoulders are down, the shoulders are going to be down. If the head is down, the head is going to be down. That's why when you look at a group, you can manage, you can see their energies. If they're feeling sad or if they're happy. Okay, everyone's going to be really up and like cheerful and looking up if they're happy. But if it's like a funeral, everyone's going to be looking down. Try to imagine like big pictures, okay? You will get like more of an idea. In a wedding, everyone's up. The chest is straight. In a funeral, everyone's down. I'm taking like really extreme examples just to really clearly stark it out. Stark and mark that, you know, this is the body language difference. Is everyone with me? All right, thank you. So I'm going to keep asking you for thumbs up because otherwise I don't know if you guys are understanding. And feel free to unmute yourself. So first thing is, yes, Mr. Abhay.
Yeah, quickly. I took an incident which was very recent. And
Right.
I took that because a lot of times I feel rapport building is easy when you are in front of a person. But
Yes.
because of COVID now, okay, to tell an incident, Prasad, who is Prasad Deshmukh, used to be, he's a good singer and
Mr. Ravindran, I think, yeah.
he's a good singer and he used to be my teacher earlier. We were neighbors. But now I have a new teacher when I've changed the house. And this teacher is from India and there is no body language because of the signal, mobile internet signal. We have the class only on audio. I'm on video, but he is on audio. So
all right.
Still the rapport is built properly because of the exchange that we do with each other. He's a professional guy. He takes the classes only for 1 hour for others, but for me it is 1.5 hours, 2 hours, and no stop.
Wow.
So
Okay.
I don't know if it is relevant here, but then the rapport building with body language could be easy. But when it comes to only audio, and it happens a lot in corporate world also today, that you don't see people or you don't meet.
Physically.
And a lot of times it is the first conversation that you're having with your clients, right? Or anybody else. and still you have to build the rapport when you're not seeing
Yes.
the. If you can help more on that.
Yes, so you're absolutely right. So what I'm doing is I'm taking 4 aspects today, and I'm going from the broader version to the narrower. So from the non-subtle version to the subtler one. So you'll see later in the next step, I'm going to be focusing on the tone of your voice, and then on the words that you use, and then on the breathing. So we're going from the very physical, because a lot of people are visual. We have 3 types of thinking. If you have been with Avinash or any NLP trainer for a long time, we have 3 ways of thinking. I will not be able to press on that, but we have a lot of, so there are 3 ways. Let me press on that. It's visual, it's auditory, and it's feeling, kinesthetic. Okay. Lot of people are visual, so it's easy for me to show something and then get their attention rather than just on audio. So I'm going from the very non-subtle aspect, and then I'm going to narrow it down to the subtler aspects which you will not be able to see. So you will just observe, like just wait for another 15-20 minutes and we'll touch on your point. And you're absolutely right. In corporates, we're half of the time on the phone and we don't know who we have mailed. And it's probably on the emails also, right? We've never even like spoken to them. So that's when your words will come into play. If you're just talking to them on the phone, the tone of your voice will play. And if you're just somebody from far, I'll tell you how you can use your breathing, and that is the yoga technique. Right? So just be with me for 15 minutes. All right. So let's go with the body language first. Everyone okay with that? Try to imagine like 2-3 incidences in your brain where everyone's in sync. You're probably watching them, or you can also be a participant in that. And everyone's body language is the same. If somebody is doing this, they also start doing ha 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 ha. So everyone's doing ha 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 ha. If everyone's clapping. If you have noticed in gatherings, in a huge auditorium, when one person starts clapping, the others also clap. Although this may seem like, okay, we just have to like keep up with them, but this is also a point of rapport building. One person starts and the other people follow. All right. So this is body language. Let me tell you how you can use it. If you're in a physical meeting, this is purely for a physical setup. So if I apparently walk into a meeting, okay, and you have to be very careful in this because if the person catches that you're trying to copy that person completely, it can backfire. Okay, so you have to given like a lot of time to practice this. Just don't try to do it all of a sudden. Now Avinash is sitting like this, okay, and his head is like this, and he's nodding his head like this, and now he's smiling. So I'm doing the same. Okay, but now if I do this too much and I just walk into a room, my body language is very different from Avinash's. Okay, I'm going to take 2 to 3 seconds to notice it and then syncing. So there is a technique where you're observing. You don't have too much time. Okay? You know that you don't have too much time. So you have to directly sync in. But if I'm just walking in confidently and I see, oh, Avinash is smiling, so I don't do this. Okay, I take 3 to 5 seconds, I pause, and then I probably try to match what he's doing. So he's leading me and I'm following him. I am, in simple copy paste terms, he's the original one and I'm copy pasting what he's doing. But take enough time to do that. If somebody's sitting sad and I walk into a room and I'm all happy, I can't suddenly go and do this. It's going to be very weird, very awkward, and it's going to backfire your rapport. Okay, so just take a lot of time and just try to match. The easiest thing that you can do in a corporate world, if you have a physical meeting, people cross their legs. Please try to use this. People try to cross their legs and people also shake their legs. There are 2 things that I do it. So your lower body is generally not seen. Okay, if you're sitting across a table or you're on your chair, and crossing legs is very comfortable. Okay, so if they're crossing one leg, you also cross your leg slowly. If they start to shake their leg, take 3 to 5 seconds. Please note this point. If you start shaking your legs vigorously, it's going to backfire. Okay, start shaking your leg. So this technique is called leading and pacing. Okay, I'm just going to touch on small things. If you have any doubt, please come back to me or Avinash and we'll be able to like educate you on it completely. And there are a lot of experiments which have proven that leading and pacing is so effective, and you'll be able to see results within 5 minutes, not even more. So what you do is, What you have to try to do is you have to see when people think that you're like them, they trust you more, they have more confidence in you, they believe in you more, and that's how the rapport is built. So whatever you say is going to be more effective than if you've not built rapport. As simple as that. Everyone agree with me? Thumbs up. Simple. If you're like me, I'm going to like you. Okay. If you have long hair, and I'm going to discuss my hair matters with you. If you have a dog, I'm going to discuss my dog matters with you. So you're like me, I like you. Perfect. So one thing that you can use in corporates, if the person has crossed the legs, okay, suppose this is my right and this is my left, and crossing legs is something that I'm going to use. But if Avinash has crossed his left leg, I'm not going to cross my left leg. I'm going to mirror him. So I'm going to cross my right leg. Okay. And now if Avinash starts shaking his leg, I'm going to subtly, after 5 seconds, also start shaking the leg. Okay. And do it very subtly. If Avinash moves to the right, I move to the right. If he moves back, I move back. If he moves forward, forward. If he's nodding his head, I'll nod my head, but subtly. Follow him slowly. Follow him slowly. And then you'll realize there's a point where your bodies are synced. Okay. Give that process a minute. When Avinash knows, when you know you're copying him and your copy paste is successful, give it a minute. And now the test will start. Then Avinash was leading, I was following. Now, since we are in sync, we're at the same level. Now I will lead and Avinash will follow. So without knowing, your subconscious has already synced in. I know this may sound really absurd. This may sound really weird to you. Please go online, check these interviews out, check these experiments out, check it for yourself. If first, this is Avinash, this is me. Avinash is here, I'm following up, I'm syncing. Now I am going to follow and I'm going to lead and Avinash is going to follow. Okay. And that's the hint for you that the rapport is built. That's the way that you are going to use your body language to build a rapport. Is everyone clear? Any questions for me? No. All right.
Ria, I have a question. Like, how
Sameer.
you will know Avinash is following you, like through the
Yeah.
body
So that's
language?
what I said. So what so see, legs are here. Okay. He crossed his leg. I'm just taking a very big example. Now he starts shaking his leg. I start shaking my leg. Okay. Now complete 1 minute sync. Whatever he's doing is going to just keep doing whatever he's doing. Then to test whether your rapport building has worked or no, you start changing the action and then you see if Avinash is changing his action or not. And Avinash will do it without knowing that he's following you. Try it. Try it with a family member. Everyone's living with at least one person today in their homes. Try it. If the person is sitting on a sofa, don't talk. Keep your mouth mum. If you guys are watching TV, watch it together and just see the body language. If that person's one leg is up, even you keep one leg up. Okay, if that person is scratching, go slow. Okay, and then even you scratch. Take 1 minute and do this. And then you try to keep your hand down and see in 5 to 10 seconds if the person has also kept the leg down or has changed the body posture. It might not even be the same thing. They might have just suddenly changed the body posture. If they have, you have succeeded in your rapport building. If you have not, means you did not give enough time to sync yourself up. Okay, so go back, copy paste them again. Keep copy pasting, and see, it takes time. Okay, give it 5 to 10 attempts. Okay, and then I'll also this is just the first one. So let me explain 3 more points as to how you can sync everything together. This is just a basic, broader version. Okay, everyone okay?
Yeah.
So
Ria,
yes, Avi.
shall I pause you? In the corporate world, do you think that there is a time we get it to understand a person who is sitting next to you like this, like we are on the same body language?
Yes, because these techniques, Savishji, I am telling you that you need only 5 minutes, not more than that.
Okay.
In 2 minutes, you can sync it up, but you have to be very careful with how you sync it up. If you go very fast, with observing and then copy pasting. Like, from happy to sad, if you go very fast, that person will get irritated, number one. The subconscious will register, number two. Your rapport building will backfire.
Yeah, and I think it's a learned skill. I think when I remember when you said, Ria, that when I started a few years back now, it's a learned skill. You do it a couple of times, you do with different people, and then you come to know, well, this is how I am good, or that person is good at establishing that rapport. So it will not come immediately, but it once it comes to you, it has a fantastic effect, as you rightly said, and it is a proven science that it works. But give it some time. Do not expect that, oh, the first time I do it, it's going to be absolutely perfect. Sometimes it does, okay, but it requires time. You do with multiple people, and then you learn that nuances of knowing, this is how it is to be done. That leading and pacing it's a continuous process. It's a dance, and that's how it needs to be conducted, without the other person knowing that he has already started dancing with you. So that's beautiful when it happens.
Yeah. I've used it in Bombay trains. Yes, sorry. Who's
just a
unmuted?
question.
I can't see.
Ashutosh here. So,
Okay. Yes.
so doesn't it seems like, if you do that, the person in front of you might feel that you're just picking him and doing a mockery of him. If you
See,
just
that's
follow the
what.
same
If you do it, you have to really do it subtly. See, now if I'm sitting like this, okay, Avinash, just do a physical body posture, please. Like, just do something with your hands, probably. I'm just going to tell you, like, if you don't do it subtly, I'm telling you, it's going to backfire. Now, if he does this, I can't go immediately and do this. Okay? I'll probably, like, do something with my hand, and then I was like, oh, yeah, you're right. If I do suddenly, the moment he does this, he's going to be like, is she weird? And what just happened? Because that will break your rapport. Rapport is built slowly but broken really fast, and I'll tell you also how to break your rapport, because that's also very important. I'll tell you, it becomes scary when the rapport is too much, and I'll explain with incidences as to how you can do it. Agree, people are and can use everywhere. Yes, so please try with your family members first. Okay, don't tell them about this. Try it at home. Okay, and come back to us. And try this at least 4 to 5 times in different places without, like looking at them and then trying to follow them. Like, you're just looking straight, but if somebody's put their hand up, you can put your hand up. Like, you just have to maintain that poker face and do it. If you do it, it's very easy to break rapport, and it's very difficult to build rapport. So just take 5 seconds to observe, and then slowly you're going to creep in. And then try. All right?
Ria, one question.
Yes, sir.
Now, suppose you are having a meeting like this, where you're addressing many people, and this is on video.
Yes.
Any quick tips to build a rapport?
See, now, let me see. You just went back and you did this. I can do the same. And it doesn't have to be with the lower body. It can also be the way you're nodding your head. And then you're doing this, and then I can say, oh, yeah, Abhi, you're right. You're absolutely right. How do I do that?
Okay, this is one-on-one. When there are multiple people, that's not possible.
So you have to see who's the most important person. You don't have to try to build rapport with everyone. Who is the one who you want to take out tips from? Build rapport with that person.
Okay. Or maybe in a conference, when a person is talking, you quickly build a rapport with that person for that moment.
Yes. And I'll tell you, there are 3 more techniques. There is which are subtler. Okay. See, I cannot try and build with Darshana and Prasad and Mayuresh at the same time. I cannot do that. But I will know when I'm putting my hand up, is everyone doing that? So, you get a general idea of people with you. See, every time you need not be pacing. Does it work with children? Instance, if I'm interacting with, yes, it does. But have you seen the movie A Beautiful Mind? It's about a kid with, I forgot the disease's name. So they cannot respond. Darshana, you've seen it. So it's a beautiful movie on how rapport building has healed a child because the mother did exactly what the child did. Please go and watch it. So he was not dyslexia. He had a very extreme brain problem. So he can't understand. He can't interpret basically, but his body language is already he's done. I think mirroring is one-on-one eye contact, body language are more useful in bigger setting. Of course, Mr. Maru, this is, but it's the quickest. Like I'm going from the non-subtle to the subtler ones right now. So Beautiful Mind, yes. So if you see that movie, you will see that the kid cannot understand anything. He can't understand English. He can't interpret what his mother is saying. But what the mother does continuously, is she just mirrors the child. She just mirroring is the body language that we're talking about. So she just keeps acting. If he's throwing the toy, even she throws the toy. If he's looking down, even she looks down. So she's continuously doing that, and then with that leading and pacing, and because the child does not understand, and his subconscious and conscious are not that active as to a normal person, it takes her weeks to do that. And then when she starts moving, the kid starts moving, and she heals her child. And this is a true life story, by the way. This is a real life story. She heals her child without any medication and without any therapy. If I'm not wrong, it is Beautiful Mind. It's a very old movie and it's on YouTube. So please take time to watch that. All right, shall we move to the next point?
Yes, please.
All right, words. This is something that I use very often. So it's really quick. I think I took a lot of time. This meeting might get extended. I'm really sorry for that. So words. So what you do is never try to mimic the accent. Number one. Okay, if a person is South Indian, don't pick up the South Indian tone. It's going to the subconscious will pick up more things than the conscious mind. All right, that's why only 7% of what you speak is going to be actually heard, but your body language is going to speak more. All right. So one of the very first aspects that we taught in NLP is that you have to listen. Okay. And by communicating, you can make the other person understand that you are listening. Okay. So by speaking, you have to make the other person understand. Mr. Abhay, like, how you told that the rapper is bad, and no, I think Mr. Prasad told that the other person wants to be treated the way you are treated. Right. So the other person also wants to be heard, especially if you're in sales like Mr. Abhay. So what happens is the customers may be complaining or maybe saying something. So you have to try to use the same words that he's used. If Avinash is saying it's hot today, I'll not say it's scorching hot. I'll say it's hot. Yeah, it's hot. Or I'll not try to, if he says it's cold, I'll not say it's freezing. I'll say yes, it's cold. Or if he says it's freezing, yes, it's freezing. Okay. Now, in a sentence, please don't try again. See, these are very subtle aspects. If you try to do number one, a khichdi of it, everything at the same time, in one go, it's going to not work out. Okay. First, always try with your family. First, try with your friends. Then try and go and use it in the corporate setup when you have the confidence to do it. All right. Number two is words, what I'm using. So if Avinash says, oh, it's Qatar time, technique, 2 words. Yes, I use 3 words. Okay. So with 3 words, what I do is if Avinash says it's Qatar, what time is it in Bahrain? Is it 12 o'clock? So we're just going to go probably nod or take, the time is 12 o'clock. Or if it's a conversation with your boss, you just repeat the last 3 words, or you nod and you say the last 3 words. Of course, you have to make sense with it. Don't try to completely put it the way it is said. Try to make sense out of it. Repeat the words that he has used. It's a copy paste technique. NLP is basically a copy paste technique. But how you copy paste? Use your brain in doing that. That's the only thing. Try to use the exact same words. Don't put your vocabulary in, especially for the first 2 minutes. It's very important. Don't use your own vocabulary. See what the other person is using, his vocabulary. Try to mimic and say the same thing. So if he says yes, so if it says it's hot, tell it yes, it's hot. And then nod 3 times. So this is also body language. His brain gets a signal that, oh, she's listened and she's also understood. She's not only listened to me, she's also understood it. So I said what he said and I nodded. And then you were like,
yeah.
So you go and you build that 2 times. Now, how do you know in turn if the rapport is built, like Savijji mentioned? How do you know if the rapport is built? After 2 minutes, after the syncing is done, you start putting in your vocabulary. Okay, so if he's trying to finish a sentence saying that, oh, the background is, like blue and it has white, and then you say, and pink. And then he says, yes, and pink. But he has to use the exact same words that you have used. And that's when your rapport is built. So this is a check as to how, first, again, this is leading and pacing in different formats. Okay, in terms of your body language, that's your mirroring. In terms of the words, like audio, right? Who was saying? Corporate world mein baat karte hain. Yes, you talk. I'm not looking at you. I don't know what you look like. Okay, but I know if you're actually in sync with me or not. So I start using your words, and we are in sync. We're in sync. And then I start using my vocabulary, and you should be repeating my vocabulary. So in the end of the conversation, if I say, yes, it's freezing, Avinash should also say it's freezing. And from cold, if he has changed to freezing, he's in sync with me. And then you start putting in things. On emails, you have never spoken to that person. I wrote mails to people I've never gone to see probably. I have forgotten their names. I don't even know their second names. Everything of that sort has happened. How do you know? See how they're using their greetings. Did they say good afternoon all the time, or they say greetings of the day? So you write greetings of the day back. If they say how are you, you are going to also ask I'm good, how are you? Not hope you are fine or hope you are doing well. See, of course, this is a very subtle aspect. They don't even know you're in sync, but they know you think like them. Okay, so on emails, because I'm going to probably read the email today and respond to you after 20 days, the rapport building might not be as strong as I'm doing it physically. But you should at least know that the rapport building has happened.
Yes, Riya, and especially for words, when you mention words, we all have a tendency to hear those words and say, well, just to let people know that we have understood, we try to put our own words and say, well, this is what you meant and this is what, I mean, as a personality, you need not change that. However, this is important in the first couple of minutes. To build that rapport, go ahead and say those same words. And then later, once the rapport is built, as you said, that is the pacing and leading takes its own pace, and that can happen. But I've seen many people who have a tendency to say, well, they hear my word and then they would repeat that in their own words.
Own words.
Exactly.
That's a mistake. Don't use your own words. They might be better than the speaker, but don't use your own words. And I know it's really difficult because, you have to change your thinking pattern constantly, because maybe Avinash is saying freezing, but Sujit is saying it's cold. So to Avinash, I'll say, yes, it's freezing. Yes. And Sujit, yes, it's cold. So I'm going, if who had that question that, how to build rapport with 2-3 people? See, of course, with everyone, you cannot build rapport. It's going to be too taxing on your brain. And you also have to do the work besides thinking how to build rapport. There's something that's happening post rapport also. It's just not that you keep building rapport and you forget the main content of the conversation. So make sure who's the important person that you want to build rapport with. Stick to that guy. If the other guy is useless, don't even like cut him out, because your brain energy is going to be used a lot in rapport building. All right, everyone okay with this?
Yes.
Yeah, I have one question.
Yes.
It's not question. Many times what happens, we listen, to speak when, if somebody is talking to us.
Sujit, you went on mute.
Unmute.
Hi, yeah. Actually, many times it happens we listen to person to reply or to speak. He is talking to us, but we, instead of listening to him very carefully, we start thinking what I should reply to that guy. It happens many times. So how, this and that, again, how we can, match up, like how we can match this.
Yes, there's a famous quote which says, the problems today that we have is because we don't listen to hear, we listen to respond.
Yes.
And that's what the problem. So you have to take 3 seconds in to kind of why you okay, one of the reasons why you respond, you jump to respond, is because you think you're not going to have enough time. Okay. So you kind of have to assure yourself that you're going to have enough time to respond. So, and what happens is, because that person is saying something, Avinash is saying something, and I'm like, okay, I have to say this, I have to say this, I have to say this, I have to say this. You kind of miss out on the subtler aspects. So what you say is, if it's like I'm just going to use corporate setup because I think most of you are working, and those are the examples that are coming up. So what you do is you take 3 to 5 seconds to respond. You just say, So see, what happens is, if Sujit, you're saying something to me, okay, and I'm like, the moment you finish, I was like, yeah, but that's not true. Okay, I can easily say that. So I have listened to respond. Your rapport will also be, if you've seen something, I said, you can give a confirmation, okay, I am digesting I'm digesting. So you have the confidence that, oh, Riaz, listen to me. And that itself is a trust building. I hope you get it. If you're not able to get it, it's fine.
Yeah, understood.
Yeah, if I'm taken 5 seconds to digest your information, you get the trust कि ठीक है, इसने at least सुना तो है ना मेरा बात. She's not jumped to respond, or she's not become aggressive, which happens. It's very common. And sometimes even the other approach works. I'm not saying every time you need to build rapport. Sometimes you need to give back to people, maybe your subordinates. So give back. You don't need to build rapport with them. You just tell, no, this is the way it's done and everything. I'm just saying, in case you want to build rapport, this is one of the way you can use it. So the other person feels heard. Who is the one in the starting said silence? Whatever, Mr. XYZ had mentioned silence.
Ashish Balsavar is the one who is silent most of the time.
Yeah. And silence is so beautiful. Silence is the way you can build. I'm going to touch on that when I say breathing, and but that is the most powerful and the subtlest way that you can build your rapport. And I'm going to touch on that. Let's just move ahead. Everyone okay with the words? Very simple. Just copy paste what they're saying, then sync it up, and then like try to use your own. Thank you so much for the thumbs up. Next is tone of voice. We're never going to meet most of the people that we speak to. And sometimes you're happy, but they are sad, and they're sad and you're happy. So either way, just, again, take 2 to 3 seconds to understand what the other person is. And it's with so much of experience, everyone can easily judge that what the other person is going through. Okay? If you're sad, I'm going to sense it. Not because Avinash, I know Avinash since like 4-5 years. But maybe even Mr. Sridhari unmutes, and I know, what's probably his tone of voice. Not because of anything else, but just experience. So if he says, yes, hello, I'm doing well. I'm not going to say, oh, how are you? So probably there would be a mismatch in the first 5 seconds, but make sure some people also speak very slowly, just like how I am speaking now, especially the Britishers. And then they emphasize on the words a lot. So then, as Indians, we go really fast. Okay, we have our own way of thinking, and we're gonna like, oh my god, you're wasting my time speaking so slow. So what you do is you try to listen to, number one, the speed of their words. Okay, and you understand how much that person emphasizes on the word. If it's probably a Britisher, they're going to speak like this to you. So you cannot speak like this. Sorry. I'm so sorry. Yeah. 1 second. My device is okay. Perfect. So yeah. So speed of talking. Okay. Tone. Happy, match happy. I know you might be sad, but match happy. If they're sad, I know you might be happy, but match sad. Okay. The spacing of words. If I speak and I pause after every sentence, you have to try to do the same. Because we might never meet, this is the only chance you will have to build rapport. Did you understand? Like, I was pausing between 2 seconds. So when you pause, if you're speaking fast, see, Indians have the ability to speak very fast. It's very difficult to catch up with the Indian accent. Okay? So you can slow down, but a Britisher or an American will not be able to match up to your speed. So you can slow down. We have an advantage. They don't have an advantage. They can't speed up. And if they speed up, we'll never be able to understand what they're saying. Okay? So if they start to roll their R's, like how they do in the American accent, you try to do it the same way. I'm not saying you fake it, but you will be understood better. My name is Ria. Okay? R is the common problem in all the languages. But when I'm introducing myself to an Arab, a French, a Britisher, my name is not Ria, it's Ria. Because they don't understand Ria. They understand Ria. So the way I use my tongue changes. Am I faking my accent? Maybe. And the other person might think. But am I building rapport to be understood properly? Chances are higher. All right?
Ria, question.
Yes, Mr. Avan.
Avinash, am I asking too many questions?
No, questions are always going to help everyone.
That's what it is for.
Okay, thanks. Thank you. Ria, it's good to know how we change the speed accordingly and go with them. If there is a client who speaks very fast and you don't understand what he is talking, I believe it's not good to every time ask him, can you repeat?
Yeah.
1 or 2 times is okay. I face this sometimes. What do you suggest in those cases?
Yes. So what I do is I had to face somebody who was Irish, and if you have heard an Irish accent, it's, oh my God, it's very difficult.
You hit the nail.
Irish accent, right? Oh my God. Britishers is still fine because we watch series. American is the easiest accent because we watch so many movies. Irish accent is going to stun you, and you have no idea what they're talking about for the first 10 minutes. So what I did and what worked for me is, because I anyways notice these things, I read the lips. I read the lips, what he's trying to say and how his P's are. If the P and the L and the M is like this, it's going to be very difficult for you to identify it. But and because they have a habit of speaking like this, watch my mouth, please watch my mouth. They have a habit of opening their mouth and speaking, and then their added accent. So just try to see what he's spoken. So go general first, don't go technical. Okay. One of my tips would be go general. So if if I'm saying how are you, the expected answer is I'm okay or I'm not okay. So you kind of understand how he's rolling his I and the M and the O and the L and the G and the N and whatever. Go general for answers which you can expect. Would you like to have water? It's going to be either a yes or either a no. Okay? Or either room temperature or either very cold or very hot. So you try to study. You try to study the mouth. ठीक है ये कैसे बोल रहा है? What? How is the way he's using his R? Is it R or is it R or it's R? French and Arabs speak ah. Okay, so just try to study. R is one of the main areas where you will be facing a problem. The second one is P. With Arabs, they speak B. They don't have P in their language. Okay, so P and B. Okay, so you have to try and open your mouth, and then again, body language mirroring will help. The way you emphasize, he will also start emphasizing the same way. And another way to make it clear, just with experience, is if Avinash says something that I can't understand, and I just like, okay, so we agreed on Saturday timing. They said, yeah, okay, and then you go ahead. So even he understands that you are not understanding.
So when you talk to an Arab, do you say I parked my car so that he feels comfortable, or do you say I parked my car?
So you say I parked. So the B and the P, you kind of mix it. And sometimes you also have to say Pepsi instead of Pepsi. They understand it better. See, at the end of the day, your communication is for the other person to understand. It's not for you to understand. So you might as well just mispronounce your P and D, but make sure you keep adjusting to and fro. All right, everyone okay?
Yes, Ria, let's
the tone of the voice, and I exceeded my time, I think, but let's
That's
just go
fine.
for another
Yes.
10,
Yes.
10, 15 minutes. So the last one is breathing. I have used this so much in the Bombay trains while traveling. I cannot, I'm guilty of that. So breathing, it can be very tricky for men if you're mirroring a woman, because if you're caught, you will be, I don't know, you will be accused of something. So you have to be very careful as to match the breathing. Again, the technique is the same. You go in, you try to match if somebody's panting, and then, maybe you don't pant because they just ran and came like a mile away. But then even you get excited. So if Avinash just ran like a marathon and came, and I want to build like rapport in like 2 minutes, you'll be like, okay, so how is it? I didn't run. I just came like from an AC room outside. I didn't run. But I'm just going to get like super excited and like trying to match. And I was like, oh, wow, that's amazing. Without even speaking a word, you can create rapport if your breathing is in sync. Just mark this. Without creating or even looking at the person, you can create rapport in silence, just using your breathing. You have to sink your breath in. Again, go subtly. You don't look at the person's chest, you just assume looking at their face as how they're breathing, because the shoulders are going to go slightly up and down, the head is going to go slightly up and down. Very small moment, very subtle moments, but the head is going to go up and down, and you don't have to move your body, you just have to match the breathing. If there's somebody who's breathing more from the chest and down, you'll notice it. Looking into their eyes, you will notice it. Okay, and then how the most common question, how do you know the rapport has been built? Okay, if they are breathing like this, so you're in sync like this, so what you do is change your breathing. If they change their breathing, you are in sync. This takes a lot of time. It is so subtle. The body language will change, the breathing pattern will change. They might still come back and here also do, but the very fact they went from to this itself shows that the rapport has, then you start changing the breathing. So what I used to do, like just a simple incident, how I used in Bombay train. So people are always sleeping left, right, and center in the train. Okay, the commute is so much. So you can wake somebody up using the breathing. And I used to do that because I wanted the seat. Okay, and I wanted to sit. So what you do is, if somebody's sleeping, it's the easiest way. Okay, it's the easiest way to create rapport. Or somebody, if you have like a brother or sister or your spouse sleeping next to you, just try to like match their breathing. Okay, they're going to be lying down and they're going to breathe very slowly. Okay, match their breathing. This also works with pets. Please understand, this also works with pets. Try. It's going to be very difficult with a dog because they breathe very fast. So you might actually start panting later. But try it. So start for like, give it 2 to 3 minutes. Just keep breathing with them. Okay. And then after that, change your breathing and do, and just change it. They will wake up. They will actually wake up because they've changed the breathing pattern. The subconscious has synced in. So when you change, they change. And that's how I actually used a lot of this in understanding as to how you can create rapport, not only when you're awake, but also you're sleeping, which is why Mr. Ashish, when he said silently, this is how you create rapport silently. Now, last tip, as much easy as it is to build rapport, it's necessary to break the rapport. So in Bombay trains, like if somebody is like sitting across me, I would like kind of mirror them, like leg left and right, hand up and down, rubbing nose, be whatever. But then you would, okay, then I tested that, okay, now that person is following me, blah, blah, blah. But then it so happens now I want to break the rapport, like, okay, enough, I tested, I'm correct, I'm amazing, I'm a practitioner, I got everything, but now I don't want to be in sync with you. But like now just leave me alone. Because you know what, if it's like a long journey, that rapport is going to continue to build. And you have tried this as an experiment and you wanted to stop. but it'll take a toll on you if it continues. So what you do is you make really loud actions. So if you've seen at the end of meetings, some people do, yes, so we're done. So maybe we're discussing something very subtle, and then changing body language, changing chest, changing the tone of voice, changing words, changing everything all together breaks rapport. I'm not saying they're going to start hating you, but I'm just going to say they might not mirror you as you were mirroring them, or they're not going to lead and pace and do all the things that you were doing with your subconscious. So loud actions, you might not even clap. Some people will do okay, and then you just suddenly stand up. So that's completely changing what happens. So you completely change, and you're out. Rapport is out. Then again, of course, if you want, mirror them. If you like this or like this or like this or like this, you can go ahead with that. So these are 4 simple tips that I use. I use this in my yoga class also to understand the breathing patterns. I think breathing is so important. It's not going to be easy. Yes, breathing is not going to be easy to mirror. Why? Because you might be somebody who breathes in and out very shortly. And if you're compared, like, because I'm a yoga practitioner, if you try to mirror me, it's going to be very difficult for you because I take longer deep breaths and longer exhalations. So you're going to get tired mirroring me. Okay. So if you understand, if you breathe in only for 3 seconds, I have the ability to breathe in for 6 seconds, not because God did, because of practice. And you might actually like start to irritate yourself if you mirror somebody who's not at the same breathing level as you. So, and also okay, so we do a lot of pranayams and the breathing exercises in class. So I'm anyways observing people, but and it's like a built thing. Like we're taught to do that, but you might not be able to do it. So please go with the very non-subtle aspects. Go with like the body language and all of that. But if you try to consciously go with the breathing, which is very subtle, it's very easy to tick the person off, and their subconscious will read everything. Trust me. If you try to look at somebody's chest to find out how they're breathing, it's going to be very awkward. Go with the breathing technique the last. I use it because I've experienced it. Please try with your family members quickly. Try to break the rapport each time. Each time you have to break the rapport when you build the rapport. It's always going to be easier for you to rebuild the rapport. If today it took you 10 minutes, next time it's going to be only maybe 3 minutes. But please break the rapport each time. You don't want to be in sync, and sometimes you are going to mirror what they're doing. So sometimes if Avinash is a non-smoker, but we are in rapport, and I have a tendency to smoke, he might just come with me to smoke, though he's quit smoking. And that happens when the rapport is not built. I mean, not broken. If the rapport is not broken, kindly please keep breaking your rapport. It's equally as important as making your rapports. So
Yeah.
you start.
Excuse
Yes.
me. Yeah, Riya, I am Anand here.
Yes. Hello, Mr. Anand.
Yeah, just one point which is somewhere related actually. Sometimes it happens in the management meeting. You are already well aware that you will be cornered today because some assignments or project will going to come on your head, which you don't want. You want to contradict over there. You want to, but at the same time, you don't want to have a negative impact in the meeting. So I would like to understand, like everyone with their own personal effective techniques, everyone try to manage this way. But is there any structured or some kind of an like NLP tips on this so that it happens in a right way?
Yeah. So, see, the basis for, thank you for the question. The basis for everything is going to be how you actually kind of, how much effort and time you put in kind of thinking. Okay. So if Avinash is my boss and he's screaming at me, or maybe you are my boss and you are screaming at me. So first, instead of responding, I'm going to like process it. Okay. So I'm going to remain silent. But if that person wants action, there are 2 ways. It went wrong with me once. Okay. My boss wanted words and I was remaining silent. That's very irritating for some people.
Yes.
Please understand that personality type. Are they people who like the response, or they are people who like to remain like mum? Okay, figure that out. That's some homework that you will have to do by yourself. Or they might say like, please tell me, like, what went wrong, Mr. Anand, what went wrong? So they want words. Feed them what they want for the initial first 2 minutes. Words. What word? If he says, you spilled coffee over my shirt, you said, yes, the coffee was spilled, but it can be given to laundry. So first you keep repeating their problems. So you're repeating the words. You're being heard because they understand that you have heard the problem because you've repeated the words in their own words. Don't try to rephrase the problem. If you want to rephrase, mirror them and then rephrase. Okay? So क्या होता है, if you've said, if you're accusing me of spilling coffee on your shirt, so I'll say, yes, the coffee was spilled, but it was an accident. So 50% is already what they've said. So they're already with you till 50%, or then you carry them on to your own dialect that you want to say. If you say it was an accident, don't accuse me of it. It might not work.
My point is that basically the breaking of the rapport, is it a right way of contradicting someone, or is because I want to express my disagreement, okay?
You
but
do
I want
not
to
build.
express,
I'm so sorry. You do not break rapport until the conversation is not over and you're not done, and you're not going to look at that person's face for the rest of your day. You do not break rapport when you're in disagreement. Even in disagreement, you have to build rapport.
Yeah, but then how to go ahead? Because if I have a rapport and I am just going ahead with or nodding the head and understanding and okay, then the people are very assertive in the management meeting. They always try to push the things very quick and fast. So that's a time where you want to bounce back.
You bounce back, but after a minute or so.
Okay.
When you know that you are here, you are being heard. See, 1 minute, 1.5 minutes, or 2 minutes, you hear them. Okay. Now you're in sync. That's what. You are here. Management is here. You are here. You kind of go in their level and you tell them, yeah, I'm listening to you. I'm listening to you. Now let's go in sync, and then you go ahead. And you have to say what you have to say.
Okay.
Use preferably their own words, preferably their own set of tone, preferably space the words out, preferably their body language. If not, I know, you cannot pay attention to so many things at one time. But please understand, you do not break rapport in disagreement. Disagreement is the place where you need to build a rapport.
Okay.
To express your disagreement. And once the conversation is done and you're not looking at that guy's face anymore, break the rapport.
Okay, thank you very much, Riya.
Welcome. It was a great question.
It's
so
basically,
these were the tips.
Sorry,
yes,
it's
Mr. Blas.
basically initial few seconds or minutes, you acknowledge the person's status, where he's coming from, what's his points he's trying to make, and so on. Accept it, what he said, and then calmly take the position that, okay, that's fine. This is what generally the Britishers do. They accept, they understand the talks, and then they stop and then say, so sorry guys, I can't do this because of these reasons. And once you are above, they will have to come up with their point again in the same way that the other guy has responded to you. So I think this is what exactly you have to do. Acknowledge, be in their seat for some time, ride with them, and then just say, sorry guys, I can't accept this because of XYZ reason.
Yes, but the rapport is still there. That's it.
Rapport is still there.
Yeah. Yes.
Still there.
Yes. And only when you express your disagreement in rapport are you going to be heard.
Correct.
That's
Give some
absolutely
time.
right.
Time is the key only.
That's perfect. That's absolutely right. So yeah, these are my 4 tips that I use. Easier said than done. It's taken a lot of time to practice, a lot of time to build belief that these actually work, because it happens sometimes, it doesn't happen sometimes. Sometimes you have so many things to say that you forget that rapport building is even a part. But then, you sit and you analyze, like, array, shit, I should have, maybe taken like 5 minutes and maybe just heard the person out. And You're going to make mistakes. So be okay with it and keep trying to watch other people. I think in NLP, what they say is like, watch other people. That you're not never doing anything. You're always doing something. And that's, if you don't have anything to do, just watch people. It's about watch their body language, watch the tone of the voice, watch what are the two people, you know, standing too far in the mall. What are they happy together? Are they sad together? Are they fighting together? In a group, are they walking at the same pace? Is one running, the other person is also running? How is it? And you will be able to understand that human psychology and how you can use the same more than like this 1.5 hour session. Your own experience will be able to break it down for you.
Right, Ria. Thank you so much for that. Let's open the session for questions.
Yes.
And I think let's have a little bit of more interaction. People, again, as Ria said, that it takes some time, and I have personally experienced it. Anybody who is an NLP practitioner would have done this, that initially it takes some time to practice these techniques. But once you are used to it, it comes out naturally, and you will find that all the charismatic personalities, all those people whom you feel that they have a good influential personality, you would see that, well, this is how, these are some of the techniques that subtly automatically come out of them. So let's open this for people to have any questions for Ria, please.
Wow, everyone understood really well. No questions. They're all going to be NLP trainers soon, Avinash. Not in Qatar.
Right.
Gonna join your team.
So while we wait for others to ask, Ria, one question is that I had, that when we spoke about yoga and having NLP, now how has it helped you, and what are things which are common between practicing yoga and then connecting it with NLP?
NLP, right. So when I began my teaching, number one, you know, what we understand, and Mr. Prasad also pointed out, I might be doing something, but you might not be doing what I'm telling you. And in yoga, physically, if I'm telling you to put your right hand up, but you're not doing it the same way that I'm telling you to do it, despite showing it to you, which means there's something wrong happening in me delivering that right hand up and you doing that right hand up. Okay. So I understood a lot of people's patterns in that. That if I'm showing you, okay, that visual is there, I'm telling you, why aren't you able to do the same thing? Because it's just right hand up. So it's supposed to be right hand up. But no, some people do this right hand up and some people do this right hand up. So that's when I started bridging, oh, maybe it's a lack of communication, that, you know, your right hand, your palm is supposed to maybe face your face and not outside and not front and not back. Right hand can be done in 4 different ways. And that's when I started to understand, oh my God, this is so much gap in my communication. And for me to get furious on other people is actually wrong. You know, because I've not communicated the right hand should face which direction. They might do 4, but I'm like, no, just look at this and just copy it. And that used to be my initial reaction. But then I started understanding that people will not understand the way you tell them. They will understand only the way that they want to be understood. For Mr. Abhay, who's into sales, yoga has been life-changing for me. Once I started teaching, yes, doing it myself, my back pains, everything went. That's what pulled me into yoga. But once I started running my own startup, I understood what fears people have. Okay. And like people will come up with a lot of problems. And sometimes you're like, oh my God, this is such a subtle problem. But why is this a problem for you? And you're still in question. But if a person has the problem and he has the problem, and sometimes they won't even voice it out. So it made me understand that some customers, so what my teaching style is I don't do yoga when I'm teaching yoga. I show it and then I go and correct everybody. I'm like roaming around the class. It's like a 1-hour walk for me. Some people don't like to be touched. Some people love to be corrected. Some people have a lot of ego and their ego hurts if I correct them. Okay. So if I'm saying your right hand needs to be up, what I do is if I walk around the class and if somebody's right hand is up like this, I turn it. I take my hand and I keep turning and I keep giving my instructions. Some people will get offended if you correct them. So you have to understand the personality types. Number two, some people will love it and they think that you're giving them attention, so they love it. Okay, they do that. What I actually understood, you kind of identify your customers. You identify that this one talks a lot. So if you target that person, he's going to talk about your classes to 10 other people and going to get you more customers. Focus on that guy. Focus on that guy and say, Acha, what do you like? So you understand, does he like to be corrected or no? No, he doesn't like to be corrected. Treat him the way he wants to be treated. So there are people in my class I don't even correct because they get offended when I correct them. Okay. And if they're big mouths and if they don't like me, they're going to tell to 10 other people that they don't like me and they don't like my classes. And that's going to affect business. Okay. Let's be very practical here. But if somebody likes attention, some people will just like to talk. In NLP, we've understood that, listening will heal a lot of things. Some people will just come and talk about the problems. Please understand, not all problems want solutions. This is a major lesson that I've learned. Some people will just come, knee pain hai, and I'll tell them like 5 exercises, spend 20 minutes of mine for free and like burn my energy. And then next class I asked, did you do it? No, I didn't do it. Why? They just wanted to be heard. And there are times I've just done, oh, you have knee pain. Okay. I feel bad. And then they don't come back with it. Because they just want that 5 minutes of extra attention of yours. Anyhow, there's one client of mine, I won't name her. Every 3 classes, she wants 15 minutes of mine extra. She'll talk about her son, she'll talk about the painting, she'll talk about anything. But that lady has gotten me 50% of my business. So will I talk to her about all that nonsense? Yes. I will even talk about things that I have not cooked and I tell her that I've cooked it. Okay. So it's really helped me in business. Because I know, and I'm like, "Arey, 3 दिन से आई नहीं है, क्या हो गया? तीसरी class हो गई." And I'm expecting her. I was like, "अभी तो आएगी, अभी तो आएगी, अभी तो आएगी." And then 4th class she comes. Yeah, I was
She built the rapport with you, I believe, right? More.
Yes, she's built a rapport, and they want personal attention. So you give the client what they want. Some people will just want to look at your smiley, pretty face and like, "Arey, sky is blue."
Positive, yeah.
Okay, sky is blue. Okay, sky might be pink also. If you say it's pink, it's pink. Whatever you say. But some people would love to argue and discuss. So then you get aggressive with them. And I'm like, yes, this is how it is. There's a kid in my class who's 16 years old. I feel proud. I personally feel proud that, I've been able to attract him into what is publicly called boring yoga. So when he says, I was like, okay, so there is different way of motivating. The same class has a 50-year-old uncle who is not able to do a lot of things. The same class as a 16-year-old. So I have to divide my attention. Not only as a business point of view, but also like a personal point of view. He comes and he tells me that, this stretch was so amazing, Riya. This is so amazing. And I feel good. That a 16-year-old, I could grab his attention and keep him like there for an hour. And then keep him not only for an hour, but also for months. Which means, and his mom tells me that, oh, I didn't expect him to like yoga, but he likes yoga. And same 50-year-old uncle, I was like, no, take it slowly. Take it slowly. And he's also like very chill about it. So how I've connected NLP with yoga is that teaching has taught me that people want different things. And people will react to different things the same way that you've told. If I like to correct, I personally like to correct because my teachers have taught me that way. Okay? If I put my hand up the wrong way, I want to know it's like this. And let me tell you, I have a wrist injury in my hand because my teacher didn't correct me. We were doing a handstand in class. It's been 5 years since that happened. That wrist injury will always stay with me. Maybe, I don't know. Nobody's able to heal it because she didn't correct it. Taking that lesson, I was like, no, everybody needs to do it the right way, otherwise don't do it. Not in my class. But some people get offended and their facial expression changes. So what did I do? I was like, okay, you don't want to be corrected. Fine. We'll go slow with you. But I cannot push them because you also have to understand, I'm 26-year-old. A lot of people in my class are 50 plus. They have their patterns. They've had their corporate experiences. They've had their personal experiences. Their brain, their wired, the thinking is so rigid. First of all, a person with black hair doing yoga doesn't work in the market. As simply as that. Okay, I've got mail saying that, you're too young to do yoga, and I don't understand that shit. But if I try to correct an uncle or an auntie and say that, this is wrong, 90% of the time it comes back on me. So I don't correct them for 3 classes. I don't correct them for 4 classes. And I choose asanas which, if go wrong, it's fine. It's not going to damage your brain or your head or your spine. अपने हाथ इधर से इधर कर लिया, मुझे कोई फर्क नहीं पड़ने वाला है. But once that rapport is built, once they trust what I'm doing, and that I'm trained and I'm certified, people don't understand that yoga needs certification. They understand that, I'm certified to correct your hand from your right to your left. That's when I start shaking their hand. I'm like, ठीक है, अब आपने बहुत गलती कर ली, अब ये करते हैं. Now let's do it my way. You did your way 4 or 5 classes. Now be happy with it. Now it's my way. And then they start building that trust. So you cannot correct everyone the first time. You have to customer is king.
Basically acceptance by their own style is required. Without that, you cannot make them work.
Yeah, you cannot make them
work.
I
think the style that everyone has to use, I believe.
Yeah. If somebody likes to, so for me, it takes 2-3 days to reply to a message, because I'm generally not a person who likes texting. But people like texting and they want an instant reply. So then I find a midway. ठीक है, किसको text करना है, किसको call करना है, किसको नहीं करना है. So it's also taxing if you always go the other person's way. It's also going to be taking a toll on you for a while until you break that rapport, and then you're like, no, now it's my way. So don't let that frustration creep in, and learning will come. It's going to be fun along the way. And when you see people building rapport, it's going to be the most amazing thing that things will change faster.
Absolutely.
Ria, I have a question, and Avinash, can I?
Yes, please.
So, yes, Mr.
I'm sure Avinash is going to like it because we are talking about it. Ria, how do you build a rapport with a person who is adamant being a multitasker?
Adamant being a multitasker?
A person, you are in a meeting, and the person, you want the person's attention for a particular meeting. There are 10 people, and this person believes that he is a multitasker. In the last session, we saw there is nothing called multitasking, only one part of the brain works at a time. But the person is adamant, and you say him anything, he continues to keep on typing on, his laptop, or does something else when others are talking. And when a question is asked to him, he asks to repeat the question. So the question, so I would like to hear from you. What do you do for such a person to distract him and bring him back in the meeting?
Okay, so in this, try to use other ways. What I would do, I'm just going to say, I don't know if it will work or no, is if that person is very logical. Okay? If that person is very logical in his way of thinking, try to put in facts to him. Science has shown XYZ and science has shown ABC and all of that. And then try to put it at the right time. And also what could work, number 2, which also works with my dog, and I'm not comparing dogs to humans, punish them. That every time you ask me to repeat a question, you're going to probably do some extra task. Okay, so you have to make sure the punishing is going to get their attention in one place. So you don't tell them that you place attention in one thing. You tell them that if you make me repeat the question, or you don't answer it in the way, it will have repercussions. The thing is, he doesn't know it will have repercussions right now. That's why he or she is just like chilling. So you attach a condition to that okay, you multitask, you love multitasking, but be good at your multitasking. And until you're not good, and until you don't make me repeat that question, and I don't get the hint that you're doing these things well, I'm not going to do it. So you kind of like attach a punishment that every time you ask me to repeat the question, you're going to maybe like make another 10 sales calls, or some punishment that will actually pinch them. That's what I would do. I don't know if it will work with that person.
It depends on the person's status also in that meeting. For example, if that person is mentally, due to some reason X, Y, Z, maybe because of his personal reason, maybe because of his other reasons he's not in the meeting, and then you are trying to convince him certain things which are not really keen at that time, and there's something other are more important than that what he's doing. It happens
Yeah,
many times.
yeah, absolutely. So what also happens is, I'll tell you something. We have to work on a subtler aspect as to why he believes multitasking is good for him.
Acceptance.
Has he learned from his parents? Because I have learned that from my parents. My mom was always multitasking. I tried to tell her it doesn't work. Okay. Has it come from the fact that he believes that he doesn't have enough time, so he needs to do 10 things at a time? Maybe. Does he think that, there are going to be 10,000 beliefs that he could be having, and that's the reason why he's doing it? So you kind of have to work at a very subtler aspect. I think probably Avinash can help you with that. Why does he think that multitasking is the solution? Does he not have enough information? I don't think so. Is his pattern so strong, or his parents have told him, or what is it? So just work on that.
Yes. So I'm just a bit
Other
wary of.
question and a statement. Sorry, Avinash. Other
Yes.
question, not a question, a statement. Avinash, I think Ria has a lot to offer.
Absolutely.
I think we need another session from her. I don't know. That's my opinion.
And that's exactly what I was hinting at, that in the interest of time, because we have many people who have commitments further to this. Probably Ria, and this is something that we would expect based on the interaction that has still being left incomplete, probably that we might ask you for another small session, maybe for 45 to 1 hour more later, whenever you are available. And we speak more about your topic also, and have some exercises, some yoga being done with the team. And I think it would be a good opportunity for us to connect again and do this. Just in the interest of time, Ria, for this particular session, let me really thank you from the bottom of my heart. I know we have been in touch for quite some time, and I know what a lovable personality that you are, and you have always been extending your support, your expertise for people to learn from. So again, thank you so much, and thank you for all the people who have been with us despite of we extending the time. And we hope to see you again in the next session. That's next Saturday. Probably we will have something which Ria also mentioned, and we can take it to the next level. It will be about the science of law of attraction. And that's going to be yet another wonderful session. And probably, Ria, we would expect you to come back with all of us again and have another session with yoga, speaking of NLP, probably speaking of belief change in the next class. And that would help us all as well. So thank you again.
That was great. Thank you for your questions. It's really nice. I also do yoga sessions online in case you're interested. And of course, we need to have extend more of this probably into a course or something, where we can have a much better interaction on a continuous basis rather than just one session, because as we know, NLP is so deep and yoga is so deep, and nothing can be understood at the surface level. Mr. Yes, if you want to write it down, should I type my contact number to you?
Yes, please go ahead.
How do you chat? How do I chat?
Oh, you can.
It's
yes.
Okay.
Just go to
00973. That's the Bahrain code, and I am typing my 8-digit number. So 38128646. Did I send it?
No, that's 3812
8646.
Okay, 00973.
Yes.
And
3812 8646.
8646.
Yes.
Okay.
So I just repeated 00973. That's the Bahrain code. 3812.
Yes.
8646.
Yes. So go with Prasad's one. Exactly. Prasad has put in the right number. Excellent.
Oh yeah, that's great. So just mention that you're from this NLP group, and just mention Avinash, so I get an idea as to where you're from. Otherwise, it's going to be completely
right. And as you rightly said, Ria, we will convert this into a nice course where yoga and NLP can work together. And I think we would have a lot of participants from the current group, and we'll extend this for them to be a part of the interaction week on week rather than just having these sessions.
And we'll get to know more of these questions and probably answer these questions in a better way. Thank you
Okay.
all so much for your time on this weekend. I had an amazing time, and keep looking back at this session when Avinash puts it on YouTube,
Yes,
so
I will be
that
putting it
you learn more.
exactly a recorded session on YouTube, and we will see you all again next Saturday. That's 9:30 a.m. Qatar time and 12 noon India time with another amazing session which will be on law of attraction. So see you then. Have a fantastic
Bye-bye.
weekend.
Bye-bye.
Thank you so
Thank
much.
you, Avinash.
Bye.
Thank you, everyone.
Bye bye.